Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Random Conversations. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Noel.
See, I introduced myself this week, right? I didn't do that last week.
Yeah. You thought you was a superstar. Everybody knew who you was.
I mean, yeah. Why not? If you say you're the talent, why can't I be the superstar?
I mean, you could be the superstar.
No. Okay. So we're back with another week full of topics to discuss. And now that the NFL playoff picture is set, we want to talk about what's coming up on Saturday and Sunday and Monday's games. So I have the bracket pulled up. So I see that in the AFC, we have the Houston Texans playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we have the Bills playing the Jaguars. And we also have the Chargers playing the Patriots. But we're just going to talk about those matchups right now, and then we'll switch over to the NFC. So which game are you most excited to look at?
Well, I actually have personal stake in the Monday night matchup between the Steelers and Houston. And some of these Steelers fans, y'all know who you are. Mm-hmm. Been getting a little bit obnoxious when they knocked out my Ravens. I mean, I'm a Jets fan, first and foremost, right? But the Jets have been so terrible
we gotta get
for
to
the
the
past
Jets
few
later
years
on.
That, you know, I had to get a second team or else I just never have any stake in the playoffs. So, you know, I chose the Ravens as my backup team, you know, and since they knocked out my backup team, these Steelers fans have been acting crazy. So I wouldn't love to see anything more than watch the Houston Texans send those suckers home, right? And I think that they're going to do it. I think the Steelers got lucky. They limped into the playoffs, and that's the worst way to get into the playoffs. You know?
I think if the Steelers lose this game, Mike Tomlin is out.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they're going to have another vacancy at head coach, which will bring it up to 9. Mm-hmm. But like you, I'm also excited to see the Houston Texans playing the Steelers. I like C.J. Stroud. I like Houston's defense. I think they could make it to the AFC Championship. If they're going to win everything, I'm not sure. But that is the most intriguing matchup out of this slate of games. The Bills and Jaguars, I mean, that's a toss-up. The Bills have been playing good, so has the Jaguars. Any of them could win, and I really wouldn't care. The next one is the Chargers and the Patriots. Since I have a disdain for the Patriots, I'd rather see the Chargers win. I just don't like the Patriots. I never did. So it'd be nice to see Justin Herbert get out of the wild card round, because I don't think he has in his tenure as a quarterback with the Chargers. So I don't mind them beating the Patriots. If it's going to happen, I don't know, but I really wouldn't mind. But yes, the most intriguing matchup for the wild card weekend is going to be the Texans and the Steelers, most definitely.
I just don't understand your beef with the Patriots. What's your beef with the Patriots?
I just don't like them.
Why don't you like them?
Because I just don't.
Why? See, this is the thing. This is the thing that I don't understand. This is why I don't like Giants fans too, because y'all created this fake rivalry.
It's not fake.
Out of nowhere, right? Because y'all beat them twice. Y'all met them in the Super Bowl twice.
You know what words still ring in my head sometimes? Not to say that I think about them all the time, but when it was media day for the first time that they faced off in the Super Bowl, and I believe Plaxico Burress said that the Patriots were only going to score
14 points.
14 points, yeah. Right? And they told that to Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's like, we're only going to score 14 points. I forgot the score. I think it was 14. Yeah, it was 17-14. And yeah, they came in with such bravado, and they just thought they were going to go undefeated. And I'm like, no.
Rightfully so. They were, 17-0. And they were smashing everybody.
They thought they thought that the Giants were going to be a cakewalk, and
everyone thought the Giants was going to be a cakewalk.
And obviously, it didn't happen that way.
No one expected the Giants to be.
And ever since then, I just didn't care for the Patriots. Tom Brady's cool. He's a great quarterback. He's probably the greatest of all time. But I just don't feel that the Patriots should go back to another Super Bowl. I don't care for them. I just don't. I mean, it's New York versus Boston. It's always going to be New York for me.
That's only in baseball, and that rivalry is so.
It's in basketball as well.
Nobody. The Knicks haven't been relevant enough for that.
They're relevant now.
Real thing. The Knicks
They've been relevant for the last 4 years. What are you talking about?
The Knicks don't even have a real hate for the Boston Celtics. That's
Jason.
made up. That's make
what's his name? Jaylen Brown. He does not like the Knicks, and we do not like him. So whatever.
Because he's leaving. Because they've been clowning him. Because he's been leaving freaking.
No, he's been doing that before the hair stuff.
I don't know.
Because when we beat them in the playoffs last year, he's like, there was no reason for us to lose to the Knicks. And I think the other
Hey,
dude,
that
Cade
could be because he
Cunningham, said
thought
the same thing.
That could be because he thought that they were a better team than the Knicks, and everyone thought that they were a better team.
Everybody
than the Knicks.
thought so,
right. but Jason Tatum tore his Achilles, and that changed the whole complexion
first of all,
of that series.
Listen, we were up 2-0 before Jason Tatum went out.
There's plenty teams come back from 2-0.
We were up 2-0 when Jason Tatum went out. So don't make it seem as if that's the reason.
If you were up 3-0,
they were out before he even left.
If you were up 3-0. Then you would have had more of an argument there. But plenty of teams come back from 2-0.
And the way we beat them, it was very competitive. And they should have took us seriously from then.
It was very competitive once their second best player or best player in some people's eyes went out. Then, of course, the game's going to get more competitive because now it's more of an even playing field. But I would have loved to see what would have happened had he not tore his Achilles. But, we can't deal in what ifs. But my whole thing is I hate how Giants fans fabricate this hatred to the Patriots when you beat them twice in the Super Bowl. Like, what are you mad about? You whipped them twice.
We just don't like them.
What are you mad about? Like, it's fake. Right?
It's not fake.
It's not like the Jets who have to face them.
Who needs to be worried about the Patriots is you Jets fans. So
right? Exactly. That's a real.
You should be happy that somebody's on your side, but yet you want to be just ungrateful
because it ain't real. Like, you just finding enemies out of nowhere.
You want to be ungrateful.
You beat
That's
the
your
Patriots.
problem.
You beat the Patriots twice. Like, what is the
That's
beef?
your problem. You want to be ungrateful.
It's not real beef.
Listen, anyway. So let's talk about the NFC, right?
So wait. Who you got coming out of the AFC?
Who I got coming out of the AFC?
Yeah, I'm taking the Houston Texans. I think that defense is for real, and I don't really see any juggernauts coming out. Juggernauts in the AFC anyway. It seemed like it's fair game. Anybody can come
that's
out
why
of the
I don't
AFC.
have a pick right now.
So I'm taking the Houston Texans to run the table.
I don't know.
It's either them or Denver, and they're the two teams with the best defenses in the league. So I'm thinking that Houston is going to run that table because I think that at the end of the day, C.J. Stroud is better than Bo Nix, and if they have to face each other, I think I'll give Houston the edge in that. And also, I like the Patriots, but Drake May is unproven. He got to prove to me. He had a nice little season, regular season, and that's cool. But playoff football is a completely different animal. So he got to prove it to me.
I don't know who I want coming out of the AFC. I really don't know. It's fair game, like you said. These teams are all on an even level field. I don't know who's going to come out. I don't think the Broncos are going to come out. I think they have a cakewalk of a schedule, in my opinion, and that's why they're number one. And the Chiefs weren't the Chiefs. So they didn't really have stiff competition in their division. So honestly, I don't have an answer. Maybe when we're in like the divisionals, I'll get more of a clearer understanding as to who I would like to come out of the AFC. But right now, I don't know. But over to the NFC. Mm-hmm. So the wild card matchups for the NFC are the Rams versus the Panthers, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Philadelphia Eagles, and we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. And Seattle is the number one seed, so they have a bye. The most intriguing matchup for me is definitely the 49ers and the Eagles because I don't like the Eagles. I'm sounding like a hater today, so I don't even care. I think my disdain towards the Eagles is much more deeper than the Patriots because they're in our division.
Yeah, and they whip you all the time.
So it would be nice to see. It would be nice to see the 49ers handle business against the Eagles. I really hope that happens because I don't want to see the Eagles in the divisional rounds. And if they do, I hope one of them beats them. I hope if it's Green Bay, Chicago, or the Rams and the Panthers, or the Seahawks, I hope somebody gets them out before they reach the Super Bowl because I'll be so disappointed.
I think the Seahawks is the only team that really has a good shot against them. I think the Rams, they got a lot of offense, but their defense is lacking.
So you see Carolina coming out of there?
Hell no. I think they have enough to walk all over freaking Carolina. Carolina's on the Cinderella story, but that carriage turns back into a pumpkin on Saturday.
Well, they barely made it to the playoffs. Right. All they had to do was beat the Buccaneers, and they couldn't do that. Mm-hmm. So they're very lucky that they actually made it to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. What matchup do you find the most intriguing in this wild card?
I mean, the Eagles Niners. Those are the two best teams. I actually wanted them to face each other later on, but it just so happened
that they're facing each other now
because the Eagles lost the final week of the season because they rested everybody.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so they ended up dropping from the 2 seed to the 3 seed. So they would have been facing Green Bay, but now they're facing San Francisco. I think that they're gonna beat San Francisco because San Francisco is injured. You know, they have great coaching and stuff like that, but I think that Philly is too good a team with that many injuries.
I forgot. They don't have Bosa. Yeah, they don't have that Warner guy. Damn.
With that many injuries to overcome. And I think that whoever comes out of that matchup between Chicago and Green Bay, I think they're going to get smashed because those are two flawed teams. I don't think Caleb Williams is there yet. He's improved from last year, but he's not there yet. And Jordan Love is very inconsistent. And I think the Eagles have that championship pedigree. They're going to walk all over them too. I only see them with a real challenge maybe in the NFC Championship game against the Seahawks. And because I think the Seahawks are going to dog walk the Rams. And then there's going to be a NFC Championship matchup between the Eagles and the Seahawks. And we're going to see which one of them dirty birds come out of that one. But I think I'm still gonna lean Eagles that way. So I got the Eagles coming out the NFC, and I got the Texans coming out the AFC. I don't know if that makes for great TV Super Bowl wise because the Texans they're not gonna have a barn burner. They're not gonna score 34 points or whatever. You know, they're gonna be beating.
They don't care. The Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. It's always gonna generate ratings.
Yeah, but nobody.
And the media will make a storyline out of it.
But nobody. Yeah, you can make a storyline and everything leading up to the Super Bowl, but nobody wants to watch a boring Super Bowl. The last couple Super Bowls have been very engaging. The last one you could say was boring
because the Eagles. They stomped on the Chiefs.
Right, they stomped on the Chiefs, but people were very happy to see the Chiefs go down. And in that fashion, because I think last year felt so fluky for the Chiefs. Like they just kept winning games, like despite all the flaws, they would just come back at the last minute. He's like, damn, like this team is just like hanging on by a thread every week, right? You know, they're on the ledge, but they just wouldn't fall. And then the Eagles came and finally friggin' popped that balloon. So I was very happy to see that shit. Every touchdown they scored was just.
I was like torn because I didn't want the Chiefs to win, but I also, like I said before, I don't like the Eagles. So it was like, damn, it could have been any other team other than the Eagles to make it to the Super Bowl that year. But it was like, all right, hopefully this is it. I don't want to see them anymore.
All I gotta say is fly, Eagles, fly. Because I think the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl again.
I don't know.
If they go up against my pick, the Texans, then I think
that defense is gonna.
Yeah, but
they're gonna hurt Jalen Hurts.
The Eagles don't have a defense to sneeze at either, right? They're not as good as the Texans, but they can play.
Well, if that's the case, and it's the Houston Texans versus the Eagles, I just want to say I hope he gets sacked a lot. That's it. Yeah. But we're not there yet, so let's
She's like maybe a little.
But
concussed.
For the NFC, my pick to go to the Super Bowl will probably be the Seahawks.
Yeah,
it will probably be them. It'll be like a little Cinderella story for Sam Darnold. If you don't know his history, he's been through a lot in the league. He's been with the worst organization in the National Football League.
Watch him out now.
He was drafted by the worst organization by the Football League, the National Football League. So
watch him out.
It's good for him to resurrect his career and to get a Super Bowl so he can rub it in that team's face.
Watch him out now.
Because they don't know how to manage and they don't know how to create winning teams. Stephen A. said it.
Stephen A. Stephen A. ain't in here. All right, we don't need to give life to what he said.
But it's true though. There's nothing that he said that was wrong.
He pissed me off.
So
he said if I was a quarterback coming out in that draft, he said I would do anything short of death not to get drafted.
Yeah, because they don't know how to manage people.
He said I will go back to college.
And I've been saying that, for the past couple of years, not only about the Jets but also the Giants. The front offices are inept. They don't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's baffling to watch, and it's hard to watch. How could you suck for 10 plus years and make your fan base go through all that misery? Like, people love when September comes by. We're sad by mid-September.
Yeah,
because we already see the trajectory and where we're going, and it's not up, it's down. So he said everything that was correct. I wish he would lace into the Giants the next time he decides to go on a rant like that, because they need to hear it too.
Yeah, he should lace in. They should lace into him.
Yeah, because the owner actually, I mean, he's dealing with cancer, but he needs to get people in that front office that actually knows how to run a football team, because it's not working. And I just want to go quickly
cancer
through
don't even get you a pass, huh? I said, damn, cancer don't even get you a pass.
No.
Huh?
It gives you half
business.
A pass, not a full pass.
This is a fanatic right here.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about the coaching situations. I believe there's 8 vacancies right now in the NFL for head coaches.
Well,
the Giants being one of them.
Who you want to be the head coach of the Giants? Who you want to be the head coach?
Yeah, I was getting to that. John Harbaugh is available. And I believe I was talking to you about it. If they don't choose John Harbaugh as the next coach of the New York Giants, I'm crashing out. Because there is no reason that you should not take him as the head coach. Absolutely none. If you don't get that, say if John Harbaugh goes somewhere else and Mike Tomlin, I don't want to wish him losing, but if he loses on Monday, he's going to be out as well. If you don't get John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin in your front door, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm not taking
the ineptitude of the organization.
Well, this is my thing. You have to take things into context when you look at these two coaches, right? Number one, when they came, they inherited Super Bowl caliber teams when they were hired, right? So but John Harbaugh. He rode the coattails of the end of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed's career. They were able to get that championship together right where they were still riding high, right before Ray Lewis retired. Right, all of a sudden after that, crickets. Right, you have a Hall of Fame quarterback in Lamar Jackson, two-time NFL
but look
MVP.
how long he's been there, though. Don't you think it's time for
18 years, right?
Don't you think it's time for a change?
But that's what I'm speaking to. I'm saying that John Harbaugh has underachieved with the talent that he's had, and he's been there 18 years. So I wouldn't be too high on trying to grab him right away.
He's the best option out there.
And I think Brian Flores.
He's not going to the Giants. I care about my team.
Yeah,
Brian Flores, I think, has an open lawsuit against the Giants.
Right, but he has an open lawsuit against the NFL, not against the Giants.
Well, right? I don't think he's coming to us.
My thing is, well, I wouldn't dismiss it out of turn, right? Because ultimately, what he wanted was a fair shot at becoming a head coach. And if the Giants turn around and say, "We think you are the head coach," I don't think he would turn it down, right? But I don't think John Harbaugh is that guy. Because you've had a 2-time MVP, should have been 3, got robbed in Lamar Jackson, and you haven't been able to sniff the Super Bowl but one time, right? Lamar Jackson just finished his 8th season, right? So you had him for 8 years, and 3 of those years MVP, right? Last year he didn't get it, but he was first team All-Pro. That's never happened. He should have been MVP. I'm not even gonna get into that.
I don't want to talk about Lamar Jackson no more.
Mike Tomlin, same situation. He inherited Bill Cowher's team. It was ready to go, championship caliber. He gets it. All he had to do was keep the Ferrari on the road. Got him to one singular championship every year.
Listen, right now, all we care about is winning.
Right,
and those coaches win.
But they inherited.
Win. We've been with every. Even afterward, they still have winning.
9-8.
Exactly, that's a winning record. We haven't seen a winning record in the Giants since when?
I'm trying to get Tom Brady.
Since when? We only had one winning record,
success.
and that was when we went to, I think, the divisionals. Right, Dayball's first year. Dayball's first year. That's when we went and had a actually winning. I think we were like 9-7. We haven't seen that since.
Do you want to win a Super Bowl?
But the thing is, it'll get there. It'll get there in time. Right now, we just want to win. We're tired of being 3-14 or whatever, 2-15. We're tired of that. We're tired. We just want somebody that could help us win, and we'll figure it out.
Y'all just need to hit on the draft picks.
We'll figure it out. We have the 5th. Hit on the draft picks. We have the 5th pick in the draft.
Right.
We'll figure it out. We just need a good coach, And I think it was you that was saying that if they get Mike McDaniel, who just got let go from the Dolphins,
they just need to go get Mike McDaniel
and put him as an OC because what's the dude's name? Kafka. I'm pretty sure he's not coming back. So it will be John Harbaugh, hopefully, and Mike McDaniel, hopefully, and we have a functioning offense. Because that's what we haven't had in God knows how long. And get a good defensive coordinator in there, we'll be all right. We just want to win. We're just trying to win right now.
Get another wide receiver.
We're tired of these low. Oh, the Giants did all this shit just to be 2-15. Like, I'm tired of hearing that. Like, I don't want to hear that no more. I want to win. I'm tired of losing.
Yeah, she want to be 9-8.
I want to be 9-8. And we'll see what happens. I think there's teams right now in the wild card that's 9-8.
See,
Green Bay, I think,
they won the Super
9-8.
Bowl, skidding into the, just barely making it into the playoffs. So she's like, as long as we can just barely squeak in, you know what I'm saying? Anything can happen.
We won 2 Super Bowls being 9-7.
Yeah, wild cards.
And that's what Jim Harbaugh does.
Miracles.
He makes teams get there with 9-7. Hopefully we could skate off into deep into the playoffs and hopefully make a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that's going to happen next year, but maybe in the next 3 to 4 years.
I bet you.
That's all I'm saying.
I bet you the Jets get the Super Bowl for the Giants.
I don't know about that.
I bet you they do.
We have Jackson. You don't even know who your quarterback is going to be.
I don't care who it's going to be. We get into the Super Bowl before the Giants.
Anyway. Enough about
just like
sports.
We won the first Super Bowl before the Giants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we won 4 more after you.
We got there first. We can always say that.
We won 4 more after. So what's the point?
Who are the other astronauts that walked on the moon? We just know Neil Armstrong. Yeah, whatever.
Right? But we won 4. We won 4 more after you. You haven't touched a Super Bowl. Your parents were probably even born yet.
Yep.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, so it looks like men who marry after the age of 35 have the lowest divorce rates of all male age groups. I don't know why that's a good statistic.
They're not saying that that's a good statistic. They're just telling you the statistic.
It seems like it's a good statistic because the divorce rates are low, but who's married? Like, okay, so I was watching a video and a woman was explaining why you should not get married after the age of 35. She basically, like, to put it in, like, to give you a brief synopsis, is basically the woman is settling, and most of the time you're going to probably be in an unhappy marriage because you settled, because you felt like your biological clock is ticking.
She sounded like she settled.
She said she didn't settle, but she's giving people advice.
See, that's one thing I don't like. I don't like motherfuckers who's not in the situation.
And I could kind of agree with her because there's women. Sorry to cut you off. Mm-hmm. Because there's women who, because me and my friend group, we're approaching 35 fairly quickly. I know.
Fairly, yeah. Y'all almost there.
I know I don't look 30. What am I? I'm 32. I don't look 32. I'm 33. Yes, I don't look 33.
Lying to the viewers.
I don't look. They'll find out anyway. I don't look 33, but I'm approaching 35. I'll be 35 next year. I'm gonna be 34 in like 10 months. Mm-hmm. And
10 months?
Yes, 10 months.
10 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's only 12 months in a year, but okay.
All right, 8 months. I'll be 34. I'm trying to push it. And we are talking about, well, damn, when are we going to, experience, some like butterflies from somebody that will make us want to marry them. I'm not in a rush. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's my mindset. But a lot of women out here, they feel like their clock is ticking, especially the women who probably don't have kids. The women who don't have a prospective mate right now, they feel like, oh God, time is ticking, because next thing everything is like, for women, when you hear the age 35, you start to panic, right? And the closer you approach 35, you start sweating like, oh my God, I don't have a kid, I'm not married. So whoever comes next, I'm gonna just marry them, just to say that I'm married.
You heard what Charlie Kirk said.
No, what do you say?
He said once you hit 30 and you're not married, your chances of getting married drop 50%. And he said your chances of having children drop 50% as well if you don't have children by 30, not 35.
A lot of people say once you're 30 and you're not married or have children, you're like, what, old goods or something like that. Spoiled goods, I think that's what they call it, especially in like
If you
older
don't have
cultures.
kids?
If you're not married with children,
Oh, I mean, but
they call you like an old maiden, and nobody's gonna want you
Old
because
maiden.
you're not, you're not 20 and you're not vibrant. But let me tell you, this set of 30-year-olds, nothing compared to what they were like 20 years ago. We're all vibrant. We're all still young. We're giving Gen Z a run for their money.
Here's my thing.
So I think that might change, and a lot of women are not trying to settle.
Well, here's my thing.
That's why they're probably not rushing, because they don't want to settle.
If this generation of 30-year-olds is vibrant, how much more vibrant do you think the 20-year-olds are?
They're the same. We're at the same level.
Ain't no way.
We're at the same level.
Like, we gotta be.
A lot of
realistic
these
about
Gen
this.
Z men are looking for older women, and vice versa. A lot of Gen Z women are looking for older men.
Yeah, you know why? You know why a lot
They
of
don't want to date each other.
You know why a lot of Gen Z men are looking for older women? Because the MILF category in
It's revamped. It's no longer what.
in the pornography.
Look at listen.
That's like,
do
that's
you
high
see
up there.
Bernice Burgos? That woman is in her mid 40s,
All right, so you
and
looking
she's a grandmother, and she's bad.
Okay, you know how much she pay her surgeon?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter.
She's
You have
bad.
Context matters.
She is a bad grandma.
But if a man is realistically looking at Bernice Burgos and a 20-year-old woman who's say, let's just do this apples to apples. I have Bernice Burgos here, and I have the new hot social media thing, right? Who's 25, and I have Bernice Burgos who's like pushing 50, right? I don't care how bad she is, right? If I'm doing apples to apples, I'm going with the 20-something-year-old over the 48, 50-year-old. That's just how it is. That's how it goes. Unless I have like some sort of like real connection mentally with her outside of the physical attraction. But just apples to apples, looking at two women, and I have to choose, if y'all both on the same level, kind of, I'm gonna go with the younger one. It's like, if I have a choice, if I have the money to buy a new car, I'm gonna buy, and I have a used car and a new car. I have the 2024 version. I have the 2026 version. If I have the money, I'm gonna get the 2026 version. You always gonna get the current version of whatever it is you want if you can afford it, if it's attainable to you, right? So it's the same thing when it comes to the dating scene, right? Only it's reversed, because they say a lot of men don't reach their full financial potential until they're 40, right? And like you said, the statistic says that when a man marries at 35 or older, they tend not to get divorced, because they have everything that the woman is looking for at that point in time. They have everything together. They're not confused.
But do you think
men are jumping all over the place? Do you think
men are settling at that time too?
I don't think men are settling, because they can choose. They have they have their pick of the litter, so to speak. They can go younger, right? And that's the double standard there that exists when we're talking about men and women.
Okay, so this topic is straight, like is for the men. So I guess I won't even bring women into it, because women, obviously they feel different, because a lot of women don't think that.
A lot of women be looking at the older guys all the time. Be looking at older guys all the time. A lot of the younger guys get overshadowed by a lot of the older guys, right? And it's because of where they are in their life. They look more serious, right? They attained what they wanted to attain. The woman is the last piece to the puzzle, right? Now I have the castle. I have everything. Now I'm looking for a queen to sit in the castle, right? And every woman wants that. A lot of women, they don't want a man. Like we had a conversation a few episodes ago, where we were talking about how women, they want a ready-made man. Right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you're not going to get a ready-made man at 25, more than likely. You'll get a ready-made man at 35. And if the man ain't ready by then, more than likely he's just not basically be where you want him to be.
Yeah, so you're proving the point. Men at 35 can marry and not get divorced.
They can have their pick of the litter.
But for women, because they're picking younger, right?
They're going to go
younger. So what about the 35-year-old women out here? what is it? What's in it for
tough.
them?
It's tough.
So that's why they're saying, that's why women, once you're not married by 35, it's like, well, damn.
Right, but why?
Because at this time, like a person that's at my age, that's my age, is not going to want me. He's going to want somebody younger.
But
so basically, it's good for the younger women and not the women that's 35 or approaching 35, because the men, they're not going to probably want a woman that's 35 because she's already older.
I think
she's already older, and there's certain things that a 25-year-old could offer more so than a 35. Maybe the only thing that will give the 35 a little bit more leverage or leeway is because she might have a steady career as well, and maybe the 25-year-old doesn't.
Yeah, if he cares.
That's the only thing.
If he cares,
that's the only thing that I could think of. If the 35-year-old has a steady career and she has financials to bring or to attribute to the relationship in conjunction to other things.
Not only that,
but like you said, men can have their options, right? If they're 35 and successful, and they probably are gonna date somebody that's younger than them.
It's all predicated on preference of the gender, right? Because women want a man of a certain status and in a certain season of their life, right? And so that's what's attractive to you. Where a man, what's attractive to a man is slightly different. So we all go for what we cater to, right? So that's why you see a lot of younger women going after the older men, and that's why you see a lot of older men going after the younger women. That's what y'all want. Now, it leads me to say,
marriage for a 35-year-old man is good. Is going to be better than marriage for a 35-year-old woman.
I don't know about that.
I think
because
so.
If you've gotten to the point of marriage with somebody, I mean, only you would be able to tell whether or not you're settling or not. But if
you just said it earlier.
Right, we talking about averages, right? Averages,
you would choose the 20-something-year-old over Bernice, a 40-something-year-old.
I mean, well, if we talking about Bernice and stuff, I'm just
using her as an example.
Right. If I'm looking at an example. But you forgot, there's another edge that an older woman would have over a younger woman, and that's conversation, right? If I go on a date, I don't want to just be staring at your face all goddamn day. We're gonna talk about something, right? What the hell do I have to talk about with a 25-year-old? Like, we are completely different points of life. Me, I wouldn't go that far down. Maybe
well, that's you. A lot of certain men might not.
Right, but because they don't really
certain men might want somebody that's 20 years younger than them.
No, I couldn't imagine what we would talk about. I mean, I guess once you hit, if you in your 50s and you getting married, you marry somebody who's 30. I guess by 30 you kind of understand how the world works to a degree, so you can have a real conversation. But a 20-year-old, something like that, 25-year-old, you still figuring shit out. And I'm here, grown, salt and peppered, got everything together. And I'm trying to talk to you about world events. You don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You trying to talk to me about TikTok. I don't know what the hell you talking about. There's a disconnect that travels over generations.
This set of 35-year-old men are finding people who they have a lot in common with.
Right, but you see a 35-year-old man with a 28-year-old woman or a 30-year-old woman or something like that, right?
And not the 35-year-old woman. So where does that leave them?
In some cases, you can.
So where does that leave them?
In some cases,
like you said, what Charlie Kirk said: when you're 30 and you're not married and you're childless, your chances of getting married are
by 50%. Right?
Yeah.
But you have a 50%. But you still have 50% chance of having those things.
It's worse than than 75 or 100%.
So how do you? So it all comes down to how do you see life, right? Do you see life? Do you see things as glass half full or glass half empty? Right. Mm-hmm. If you have a glass half empty approach, then you already defeated yourself, right? But if it's half full, you see I have 50% chance to freaking do what I want to do, to have what I want to have. I feel like, if you allow, like I said, society is built to beat you down physically and mentally if you let it. Right. If you want what you want, you go out there and you find it. If you're intentional about what you want, then you'll find it. But if people shouldn't
predicate their lives on marriage, you're not successful if you're not married.
I don't think people think that you're successful if you're married or not. I think different people assess success differently, right? So I would never look at somebody and say, oh, you're not as successful because you're not married. Maybe you never wanted marriage, right? And even if you did, relationships are not easy. Marriages are not easy. It's hard to be with somebody and to go the distance, right? So, to say that your life is not a success because you're not married is just ridiculous. It's one of the hardest things to do, and it's one of the hardest things to maintain. I'm speaking as a man who is married and been married for 7+ years now, right? It's a hard thing. It's constant work. So, I would never characterize someone's life as a failure if they're not married.
Yeah.
You could. I'm not world traveled. I've only been to a few places. I have a good job, but I'm not CEO. You know what I'm saying? Like there's plenty of things. There's plenty of things on the bucket list that still need to be checked off before I could look at my life and deem it a smashing success. Right? I'm happy where I'm at now, but I'm still hungry. All right. So I myself can't turn around and look at somebody unmarried and because of that fact say that your life is.
Because certain people do predicate like, are you married? Are you married? No, that doesn't like what's your point? My life is not predicated on whether I have a ring on my finger. If I am happy and content with the way I live my life, then I'm happy and content. Like whether I do it alone or with someone else, right now I'm fine. Anyway, yeah, so that's a nice statistic though. And whoever these men who are 35 and over are marrying, kudos to them as well. If they're 35, good. If they're 28, that's good.
But why do you think the marriage lasts longer when the man is 35 and
That's
over?
the thing. I don't know. That's why I'm asking. You said it, and I could kind of agree with you.
He's serious.
He's serious and he has his life in order.
Yeah.
And he decided, all right, so I like you, you like me, let's just get married. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what it is.
I think at that age, around that age, you're done with a lot of things. Like you've done the club scene a million times. It's one where the nights
very odd. Like
start to feel.
When I hear men that say, "Oh, I want to settle," I'm like, y'all want to settle? That's crazy.
Not settle. They want to settle down.
Settle down.
No, but
anyway, settle down.
Settle down is completely different than settle.
You want to settle down? Like, oh, interesting. Like I always feel like men ain't shit. So I like the. Like I have the, what's that word I'm looking for? Like I don't put anything past them. Like, how can I explain this? I don't think, like I don't have the highest expectations. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the bar is set very low for everybody. Like I don't think, oh my God, there's just, magnificent person. Like they're not going to do X, but I set the bar very low so I don't get disappointed. And I think that's how a lot of women should act when it comes to like certain relationships. Don't think like you're going to receive the moon and the stars, right? Because sometimes you're going to get disappointed. And when you get disappointed, you're like very like, damn, like you really let me down. So the bar has to be set very low. Not a lot of women are going to agree with me on that because, my standards are so high. But if you set them sky high and he's not meeting it.
That's why they ain't married.
If you're setting it sky high and he's not meeting it, then you're going to just be disappointed. Mm-hmm. You're going to be disappointed. So set the bar very low, especially with anybody that you deal with. Set the bar very low. So if you're like, I didn't expect this person to do X, Y, Z anyway, you're not surprised. Mm-hmm. That's how I deal with people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the best way to say it because when you tell people to have realistic expectations are different from person to person.
If they can't do the bare minimum, okay, that's when you get rid of them.
But even people don't even know how to characterize what the bare minimum is. Some people, like I remember, I have this friend who stated that if she goes out to dinner with a man and say he gets there first and he doesn't order her drink, it's a wrap. Mm. Right, like he has to know her drink, how she likes it, and everything. Right,
and this is a first date.
And this is like in the dating scene, like relatively.
But is this a first date?
Not a first date, because how would you know that? But like it's like little things like that would completely turn her off.
I think women just want to know that you're thinking of them, just by the little things that you do. Like, oh, you got me my favorite so and so. That was very nice of you. Little shit like that. I could agree with her on that. Like
for the drink. For
certain things, like for little things goes a long way. if you have somebody that does the little things for you, then you're like, oh, you know, it's nice that you thought of me in this little gesture. Like you remember the little things that I tell you. Like you put it in the back of your brain, and when you see it, you might want to do that, or you want to get that. Like I could agree with her on that. I can, especially if you've gone on a lot of dates, and you know this is the only drink she gets.
Right. If you know that's the only drink she gets,
then that's one thing. Yes, but if it's a first date, I'm not expecting that.
The way she characterized it was like fairly new into the thing, because I think
if you've been on a couple dates
dealing with at the time was not somebody she had been with for very long at all.
Well, it depends on how many dates you've been on, and if you get the same drink all the time and you so happen to get there before I do, it'd be nice. It'd be like, oh my God, you thought, all right, then this is nice, you know? But if it's the first, like 3 days, no, I wouldn't expect that, because nobody's gonna know what I drink. That's for sure. Because I switch up. What?
I said alcohol.
I switch up all the time. Like 1 minute I might want a mojito, next minute I want a margarita, next minute I want a Cosmo, next minute I want a martini. I always switch up, so don't nobody they're not gonna know what I drink. That's it. But yeah, that's a good statistic for men if they want to marry after 35.
I think it's a good
just
advice.
Know that
I think it's good advice.
It's good advice, and it's a good statistic.
Your 20s is not to get married. Your 20s, you should be using that time to like build yourself up, explore, find out what you like, what you dislike. You know, try to master yourself. Physically,
but if you meet your
physically and mentally,
if you meet your soulmate in your 20s, that's different.
I mean, you meet people, when you meet them, but things are supposed to happen when they happen, right? So, I think men should take their time, right? Get yourself together, and then try to get some stuff.
But what if you like meet somebody in your 20s, right? And you know this is like the person you meant to spend the rest of your life with. You gonna wait till you're 35? No. No, you're not gonna wait.
I don't know.
No, you're not gonna wait.
But that wasn't my that. I don't know. Well, the thing is, there's a difference, because when I met my wife, I was like 25. I was like I was 24, 25, around there, and I didn't marry her right away. We were together for like 7 years before we got married, right? So, like, no, I got married we were together like 5-6 years.
Get your math right.
Yeah, whatever. We were together for years before I decided to finally tie the knot. You know, I wasn't in any hurry, but she wasn't rushing me either. And everything happened at the pace that it was supposed to happen.
It happened organically, which is a good thing too. Mm-hmm. It happened organically.
Right, exactly. I don't feel like there was no pressure.
No rushing.
Which was good.
Yeah.
And I feel that's ultimately what I want to get across, is that, you know, don't put pressure on yourself to get married by a certain time, especially for men. Get yourself together, right? Because once you get yourself together, this is going to make you more attractive to women in the dating scene, right? And then you'll be able to have be able to have a bigger pool to choose from, because you'll be more set, right? Instead of trying to get married and figure things out on the fly while you're married, you're just making things harder, right? Now, if you have one of those situations where you find the person that you love and all that stuff, you know, just, you know, keep her with you, you know, date, be boyfriend and girlfriend for a while. You know what I'm saying? If she's your person, she'll understand, like, that you're trying to get things in order before you get married, because ultimately no man wants to get married and not be able to provide, you know, the life that they want their family to have, right?
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. I think at 35, a lot of men have their shit together. They're more serious and focused about how they want to go about life.
Yeah. Well, I'm pushing 35. I don't know what my future is. Anyway, enough about that. A lot of political news. We haven't talked about politics in a while, but everybody and their mama knows about what happened on January 3rd. I woke up to the news that President Nicolas Maduro was, I guess, seized, you could say, or captured by the U.S. government and sent to New York City, Brooklyn to be exact, to he's going to be on trial for drug trafficking. But everybody knows it's deeper than drug trafficking. The White House administration is saying that it's a war against drugs, and drugs is the number one epidemic in the country, and a lot of it is coming from Venezuela, and they want to put a stop to it because they felt like the president or the dictator at the time was feeding into it and sending drugs to America. But obviously that's just surface level. They wanted to seize him because they just want the oil from Venezuela. He's made that perfectly clear. And a lot of people are saying, oh, you ran your campaign on America First. This is not America First. But then there's other people.
Thing he's done.
There's other people like the one sitting to my left.
It's the most America First thing that he's done.
It's America First because you get all this money and oil,
all this benefit for America.
And I don't know. I just felt like we were fine before.
You fight the war.
We were fine before with the oil that we have. So now. Like, now you're invading another country. You're saying that you're going to be running that country for an undisclosed amount of time.
That's
an invasion.
That's a mischaracterization.
It's imperialism.
It's not. They
took
not,
anyway, and they're saying they're going to run the Venezuelan government. So I don't know what's going to come out of this.
They said they're going to run it.
Every time the new year starts, it's always something. For like the last, I want to say, 5 years, because what was 2021? 5 years ago, started with January 6th. Every January is like a boom. Everybody's like, oh, please let this be a peaceful year. Please let nothing happen. And then like the fourth day.
And then Will Smith.
And like the fourth day, something happens that's like earth shattering. Nobody expected this to happen on the third day of the new year.
Yeah, that was kind of
surprising. But every new year is always something, right? I don't know. How do you feel about this?
I mean, I could see it from both sides because from this administration's side, because you got to understand, China was one of their main purchasers of oil, right? So by us seizing that oil, we hurt China, right? Now they have to come to us and they have to pay us a premium for that oil because the president said he's going to put 45% tariff on the oil. So they're going to have to pay like damn near double the price to purchase the oil, right? That's more money in our pockets, and we hurt one of our major competitors on the world stage. That's number one. So that's a benefit for America, right? That means cheaper stuff, cheaper oil at the pump. More money for our reserves and stuff like that. It strengthens the dollar globally, all of that stuff, right? And China's made no bones. They're vying for global superiority, so we have to try to cut them off at the knees whenever we can. The war on drugs, we've been fighting that war since the 80s, right? But the government has been targeting the wrong people. They've been targeting black and brown individuals and really fucking up our neighborhoods and whatnot, and incarcerating us at exponential rates, right? So now that they've turned their ire and their attention to one of the major drug pushers globally in Venezuela, and you cut the
Is there any evidence that he's a drug pusher?
You gotta look. To me, everything that's been reported is that he's affiliated with this stuff, and a lot of the drugs do come from Venezuela. So,
they come from other places too,
right? And maybe
you gonna lock up every president,
and maybe we'll get to them too.
You gonna lock up every president?
I don't know, but that
jail downtown probably gonna be filled.
My thing is,
people.
I don't hear anybody crying about what happened to Maduro. The main thing, I think, the issue at hand is that you set a precedent with this action by saying that, if someone is if another nation is doing something you don't like, you could just run in there and kidnap their president, when normally you'd have to deal with things through diplomatic channels, right? You do have mediations, talks at the UN, stuff like that, try to get sanctions and all types of stuff, right? All this red tape, where he just cut through the red tape, went and got the guy, and completely kind of like took over operations of that country, right? And took their biggest domestic their biggest export product in oil, right? So I could see how other countries look at that and they're kind of concerned, because if they couldn't do that to Venezuela,
they gonna do it anywhere.
Who's to say that they won't do it to Colombia next? It becomes a slippery slope.
It's like you're meddling into all this stuff, and there's no reason for you to. I get what you're saying. Like the seizing of the oil would be good for America, but he needs to fix the problems that we're dealing with right now in this country.
Well, that money could potentially fix a lot of problems we have in this country.
You know that money's going to go?
Where?
Into the White House, right? Because he's building a ballroom, and I heard now
he's not going to pay for itself.
That money could go into other outlets. Education.
We'll see where that money goes.
Education.
We'll see where that money goes.
Social Security. Mm-hmm. Like it goes to other outlets. I would love to see it go there, but who knows where it's going to go.
There's billions of barrels of oil that we now have access to.
He want to build a 5-story ballroom. That's where this oil money's going to go.
Well, look, the president so far, I feel like every episode I have to put this caveat. I did not vote for this man, right? But I'm not going to shed a tear for Maduro, and I'm damn sure not going to shed a tear for Venezuela, who was gearing up to try to take Guyana's oil. I'm Guyanese, right? My family's Guyanese, so I don't care. I'm happy that he did what he did. He cut him off at the knees. I just hope he don't try to roll up in Guyana with that same type of energy. But we have Guyana has American oil companies in there working with them, and they have contracts and deals already set in place. So I don't think we have to worry about that. But Venezuela, they were bad guys. They were bad guys, and we had to get them. Nobody is making any complaints about him being kidnapped and not like that. It's all about everything else, but everyone is in agreement that Maduro was a bad dude, right? But now they're saying that it was a mischaracterization about how Venezuela reacted towards the
certain people are not
the kidnapping of Maduro.
I think even though they might not like Maduro as a dictator, they didn't like the way that he was forced out. They didn't like what the U.S. did.
He was kidnapped.
Even though he did what he did to his country, he stayed longer than he should have. They don't like the fact that the U.S. just came and just took this man and left. Mm-hmm. Some of them, I'm not going to speak for all Venezuelans, majority of the Venezuelan people like the fact that he's not there anymore, but some of them don't like how he was removed. They didn't want another country to come in and do what they as a country need to do.
But they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it, yeah, but They didn't want the U.S. out of all countries to come in and do that. And now the U.S. is saying how, we're going to take charge. They don't want that. Some of them, I'm not going to speak for all. Some of them, from what I saw.
What do you think? You think that the other countries around the world that could have done something about this guy should have just left him to his own devices and let him do what he wants to do?
I mean, stop I think he has closer ties to like Russia or China and all of that.
That's why you have to understand.
Sometimes you gotta let people just leave them. Like stop. But one thing about me is like mind your business. That's how I live my life. I don't meddle in anybody else's business. If you want to do that's on you. That's because especially if you got your own shit going on and you have things to fix here, why are you meddling in any other? Him doing
that thing fixes a lot of things here. That's what people don't understand. People are like, it's just about oil. It's more complex than that. Yes, the oil is a big thing, but there's a lot of things that oil money can provide to us as a country.
Well, we have to see it.
And there's a lot of things that action provides us as a country.
Well, we have to see it. We haven't seen it yet.
But it's because
we haven't seen it yet, and based off precedents, people are not so optimistic.
Do you think that this would have been as big? There would have been as big of pushback if it had been Biden's administration who had done it?
I'm not sure.
And that
might not have been. It's just because of the person that did it.
Right, exactly. But
we're not sure on how this money is going to be distributed.
That in itself defeats your whole argument, because that states to me that it's an acceptable action. You just don't approve of the person who did it. But the action itself, you can justify it in your mind.
I don't even see a lot of Democratic. I don't see a lot of Democratic people who've been in the White House or administrations. That's the word. I haven't seen them do that. The last time we invaded a country and took down their leader, that was under the Bush administration. That's nothing that Democrats are known to do. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, because Democrats,
they don't do things like that. The only thing Obama did was kill Osama bin Laden. Mm-hmm. But Osama bin Laden he wasn't a leader of a country. The Republicans set that precedent. Bush did it with Saddam Hussein. Who else? I think, was it Gaddafi? I think the first Bush dealt with Gaddafi, if I'm not mistaken, the leader of Libya. Mm-hmm. He's the one that got rid of Gaddafi. It's either him or the second Bush, his son.
You can Google it.
Yeah, I'll Google that later. But people could fact check. But I don't know if any Democratic person has done that.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because it might not speak to the strength of the leader.
I mean, the Clinton years were fine. Right, I might have been a kid, but I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anybody said anything bad about the Clinton administration, and I haven't heard anybody said anything bad about the Obama administration. A lot of people say Obama deported a lot more people than what's his name, Trump. But people were living good in the Obama administration. I don't recall anybody waking up in January wondering what the hell's going on.
How old were you when Obama was president?
He got elected in 2008 and he left in 2016?
Yeah.
So I was 16 and 20 in 2008. So he left when I was like in my mid-20s.
Right. So you're not in a position to really speak to everything that his administration did. And,
I mean, I was old enough to understand
and how you benefited from it. You can tell the difference now if you're really honest about it.
And I'm saying I haven't heard of
closely you follow politics yourself now as opposed to you did back then. Especially
I haven't heard anybody saying anything that was glaringly bad about the Obama administration. People are now focusing on politics now because of what's going on and who we have.
You need to look at our age bracket. You say people are now looking at it. Well, Gen Z is a little bit more politically driven,
exactly,
right? But we, as people in our 30s, are more into politics now because it directly affects us, right? So we want to know what the frick is going on, right? We didn't have that same energy at 20. We didn't have that same energy at 16, right? That's just facts.
So why do you think Gen Z has that same energy now?
Because Gen Z has something that we never had, which is news at our fingertips.
We had news at our fingertips back then.
No, we did not.
Yes, we did.
No, we did not.
Smartphones were around in 2008.
Yeah, but you didn't have Instagram.
You have Facebook.
Stuff like that.
Facebook was around, and people would post on Facebook.
The news cycle is on steroids now, and if you're gonna argue me on that, then I guess we just gonna argue about that, because you definitely have more stuff. And then
but you had the internet and you could Google.
Not only that, we always had the internet and we could Google, but no one was doing it. It depends. It's all about where your mind is, what your interests are at the point in time, right? During our generation, my generation and your generation, we weren't that politically inclined when we were younger. This generation now, especially with the way that the political climate is now, is more divisive.
Well, I was around a lot of politically inclined people,
right? Well,
I haven't heard anybody say anything bad.
But this is what I'm saying. You're around. We were raised around Democrats. Your parents are Democrats. Your grandparents are Democrats. You were raised around predominantly Democrats, right? And so you're gonna get a little bit more of a favorable view. Even with Bush, I heard a lot of complaining about Bush. But it was a lot of complaining
there wasn't
about
that
Bush.
much complaining about Bush.
If you're going to complain, if you're going to compare him to Trump, Trump is the most divisive president in decades.
Bush was a cakewalk compared to what we have now.
But there was a lot of pushback with Bush. And especially after everything that happened with 9/11
and how old were you when Bush was in office? Not a teenager?
I was.
And you heard a lot about people.
The pushback.
Yes.
But I wasn't, to me, that didn't mean,
and I didn't hear that.
Nothing to me.
I didn't hear a lot of pushback with Bush.
There was a lot of pushback with Bush. There was a lot of pushback with Bush. People started liking Bush after he left office.
There wasn't I haven't heard that much pushback with
Bush. People started liking Bush after he left office.
And that's my point. Like, I don't think is the pushback now it pales in comparison.
Right.
I mean, the pushback pales in comparison to the pushback now.
You're just making my point, which is why I feel like Gen Z and stuff like that are more.
But it doesn't mean people back then didn't have the access to see what was going on.
Our celebrities are over here speaking about the politics. You know, everybody has an opinion.
The celebrities were speaking about the politics back then too.
It was the media cycle and what we had available to us.
Because I remember the 2004 elections today. And everybody was like, vote for John Kerry, vote for John Kerry. Yeah. It was the same way. It was
it's
the
not
same
the same
way.
It's not the same way. It's on steroids today. And that's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I don't think.
It's not
from
the
what
same.
I remember, people were very heavily invested in those 2004 elections.
People were heavily invested in 2004 elections, but would you say that they were more heavily? I would say, and I would argue,
especially younger
that they were
folks,
more heavily invested in the last 3 elections with Trump. I would, and that's proven out,
and that's because of the type of person he is.
Right, but okay,
it doesn't have anything to do with the news cycle.
It does have to do with the news cycle.
It has to do with him as a person. It has to do with him as a person.
It's not just him as a person. It's not just him as a person. It's not, because if you're looking at it from our country's lens, but you also see Gen Z globally taking a stance against their governments, like in Nepal when those people overthrew the government and set the national palace.
Shit like that wasn't happening when stuff like that wasn't happening when
we
were younger.
You're making my point. That's what I'm saying.
No, like, you're saying that these people are more
politically inclined
because
today.
Of the social media.
Right,
but
yeah,
I'm just saying,
the information is here.
I'm saying we were politically inclined back then, but it wasn't on steroids because of the type of people that was in the elections back then. It depends on the type of person who's running. That's what makes people pay attention even more.
What I'm saying, it depends on that, but then also if it's not constantly in your face, if you're not constantly bombarded,
there's
with
people who
stuff,
don't even know what the fuck is going on unless it's breaking news.
There's people that know what the fuck is going on.
There's certain people that don't care.
No, you have kids coming home from from first grade, second grade talking about Trump this and that. And you're like, where the hell you heard that from? Like it's everywhere.
There's certain people that don't care unless it's in their face.
It's everywhere. I didn't hear nothing about Bill Clinton except from in my house. I wasn't hearing nothing about from my teachers. Anybody trying to make me lean politically left or right. Like it's everywhere.
I'm just saying the times were different. The times were different.
Right, but you just made my point. That's my whole point.
Your point is the people is glaringly in your face because people are looking for it.
You look for it or not, it's in your face. I'm saying politics has become pop culture.
It's always been pop culture.
No, but
don't say that. It's always been pop culture.
It's the biggest.
It's always been pop culture. It's always been.
Trump has it at such a level right now. It's so visible. I feel like it's never been this visible over the past. I would say
because of him as a person.
Right, but not only that. Because of him as a person, and then also because of this.
And why do you think he's garnering so much attention on social media?
Because of the things that he says.
Exactly my point.
Right, but then I say to you again, how do you explain what's going on in all these other countries where the Gen Z population are protesting and overthrowing governments and stuff like that? It's not just this country, right?
Well, I'm not talking about other countries. I'm talking about this
right,
one.
But I can use other countries to bolster my position in that it's not just this man, even though he's a big, probably the biggest reason, but it's also this. And then you have a million people telling you how you should feel on this.
You don't know how millennials or Gen X was protesting before that. It could have been the same. It could have been the same way.
You didn't see.
It could have been the same way, and we just don't know.
It's not the same. It's not the same. Come on.
And we just don't know because we're not living in that country, and a lot of people
I don't live in Nepal, but how do I know about it? I'm not living in Nepal.
But you don't know if generations prior to Gen Z
were. I'm not living in Nigeria.
You wouldn't know if they weren't protesting. You don't know.
You're making my point.
But you're saying that the reason why, okay, so yeah, Gen Z might be protesting because of social media, but how do you know that millennials weren't protesting outside of social media?
I'm not saying that they weren't. I'm saying
or
that,
being,
I'm saying that
or everything is in their face.
I'm not saying
they
that,
probably
I'm
could have.
not saying that they weren't. I'm just saying that it's on steroids now. The Gen Z generation and the times we're living in is just politically charged. You know what I'm saying? Everybody feels that there's some form of anxiety over the world ending. Everybody's dealing with a little bit of that at some.
I think we gotta wrap this up
at some level, and it's just this. This is creating a heightened form of anxiety because it's constantly.
People
in your
been
face.
protesting before that.
I never said that people didn't protest. I said that it's escalated. It's on steroids now, right? I feel like it's just and
the
like,
Million Man March.
Right.
That was what, 95?
Yeah. Okay, you talking about one incident.
There's millions of civil rights march.
Okay, that's 65. Now, so you went from one
Sometimes
one march
you don't.
in 90,
if you're political, if you know what's
60s.
going on and you feel a way, you're gonna go out there and protest,
But
whether it's always in your face or
if
not.
If you know what's going on, now everyone knows what's going on.
But not everybody's protesting.
So now you see protests everywhere. The BLM, the ICE protests, the friggin'.
There's certain people who care about none of that. I'm telling you, there's certain people that don't care about any of that.
Don't care about none of that. But you see,
and it could be in their face, and they gloss right over it.
You see younger and younger people taking a personal stake in what's happening in our country, and it's because of this. Because this allows them to see what the hell is going on, and it's constantly in your face, and it's constantly a discussion. People live on social media now, so you're having discourse with people of your generation and people from past generations. We're forming different opinions. You're creating public anxiety and stuff like that. Like with the whole thing with Trump, I don't even know why Americans are really really stressing about this whole thing, right? I would take the wait and see approach to see exactly how this whole thing shakes out. Because honestly, when I look at what he did with Venezuela, I see more pros than cons. The only con I see, the most important con that I see is how we look visibly as a country. But a lot of countries didn't really look favorably on America anyway, right? So, it's never been really 100% safe to just visit other countries and identify yourself as an American anyway, right? So our optics hasn't been very good for years, right? So, but I can see how people would be like, damn, we just look like we just could run up in anybody's country and just do whatever the hell we want. We look like the bullies on the block, right? But in terms of getting the oil, providing more money for the country, friggin' striking a major blow with China, strengthening the dollar, all of that stuff. I'm like, I don't see any drawbacks for us as a country, financially, militarily, all the way around with this move. Now, if you're gonna say we look like jerks, then okay, that's your argument. We look like jerks. Okay, that's where you stand. But I'm not looking at it wholly as how we look globally. I'm looking at it as what does this move do for us here at home.
We'll just have to wait and see what that move is gonna do.